Once upon a time, beyond rolling emerald hills and rivers that shimmered like liquid glass under the sun, there lay a kingdom called Aurelian, a land where golden wheat fields swayed like ocean waves and ancient forests whispered secrets older than memory itself. The people of Aurelian believed their land was blessed by unseen magic, for their harvests were always plentiful and their nights peaceful under a sky scattered with brilliant stars. In the heart of this kingdom stood a magnificent palace carved from pale stone that glowed softly at dawn, as though it held the first light of morning within its walls. And within this palace lived Princess Elowen, the only daughter of King Aldrich and Queen Morel. From the day she was born, the kingdom celebrated her as a blessing, yet as she grew, it became clear that Elowen possessed something far rarer than beauty. She carried a heart filled with compassion so deep it seemed to hold the warmth of 1,000 suns. Servants adored her, children followed her through palace gardens, and even the palace animals seemed calmer in her presence. But behind her gentle smiles lived a quiet ache. Though surrounded by luxury and admiration, Elowen often felt like a bird living inside a gilded cage. She longed to understand the world beyond palace walls, to know the lives, struggles, and joys of ordinary people. King Aldrich loved his daughter more than anything, yet age had begun to weigh heavily upon him. His once powerful voice had softened, and silver strands had overtaken his dark hair. His greatest fear was leaving the kingdom without a worthy ruler to stand beside Elowen. Suitors arrived from distant lands, princes draped in silk, warriors boasting tales of conquest, noblemen with charming words polished like jewels. Each one promised loyalty and devotion, yet something in their eyes always felt hollow to Elowen, like echoes in an empty hall. One stormy evening, when thunder rolled across the sky like distant drums, a cloaked figure appeared at the palace gates. Rain poured heavily, yet the figure stood still as stone, holding a small wooden chest close to her heart. The guards hesitated but felt an unexplainable urge to let her pass. When she entered the great hall, the torches flickered as if greeting an old friend. She was an elderly woman with silver hair flowing like moonlight, her eyes bright and knowing. She bowed gently before Elowen and spoke in a voice soft as falling snow. "I have traveled far to deliver something that belongs not to the crown, but to your heart." She opened the chest, revealing a mirror framed in twisted silver branches adorned with tiny crystal blossoms. Its surface shimmered like calm water beneath starlight. "This is the mirror of Veritas," she said. "It does not show faces. It reveals souls. When you look into it beside another, it will show the truth they carry within, kindness or cruelty, honesty or deceit." Before anyone could question her, she placed the mirror into Elowen's hands and quietly left, disappearing into the rain like a fading dream. From that night onward, the mirror became Elowen's most guarded secret. She hid it within her private chamber, wrapped in silk. Whenever a suitor visited, she would speak with them kindly, observing their words and gestures, then later gaze into the mirror while thinking of them. Again and again, the mirror revealed shadows. Flickers of ambition burning too fiercely, threads of pride twisting like thorns, or cold emptiness hidden behind charming smiles. Though Elowen never spoke of what she saw, her heart grew heavier with each passing year. Meanwhile, King Aldrich's health declined, and whispers filled palace corridors about the kingdom's uncertain future. Pressure mounted for Elowen to choose a husband, yet she could not bring herself to ignore the truth she had seen. One spring morning, longing for escape, Elowen disguised herself in simple clothes and slipped beyond palace gates with only a small satchel and the mirror hidden carefully within it. She wandered through villages, markets, and quiet country roads, feeling a freedom she had never known. Days passed, and she found joy in small moments, the laughter of children chasing butterflies, the scent of fresh bread drifting from cottages, the warmth of strangers sharing stories by firelight. One afternoon, while walking along a dusty road lined with wildflowers, she came upon a small crowd gathered around a broken wagon. A young man knelt beside it, carefully repairing a shattered wheel while speaking gently to an elderly couple who looked worried. His clothes were plain, patched at the elbows, and his hands bore marks of hard work, yet his face held a calm kindness that seemed to glow from within. When he finished, he refused the coins they offered, instead asking them to travel safely and rest often. Elowen watched quietly, feeling something stir within her heart like the first note of a song long forgotten. She approached him, and they began to talk. His name was Rowan, a wanderer who traveled from village to village offering help wherever needed. He spoke not with grand words but with simple sincerity, and his laughter carried the warmth of sunlight after rain. They walked together for hours, speaking of dreams, childhood memories, and the beauty hidden in ordinary days. Rowan never asked about her past, never tried to impress her, he simply listened and shared. For the first time in her life, Elowen felt seen not as a princess, but as herself. Over the following weeks, she found reasons to return again and again. They shared meals beneath oak trees, watched sunsets paint the sky, and spoke late into the evening about hopes and fears. Yet deep inside, Elowen feared trusting her heart. She had been wrong about people before, and the thought of losing this newfound happiness terrified her. One evening, as golden light filtered through the trees, she told Rowan she wanted to show him something important. They walked to a quiet clearing where fireflies danced like floating stars. With trembling hands, she revealed the mirror and asked him to stand beside her. As they looked into its shimmering surface, the mirror began to glow brighter than ever before. Instead of shadows, it filled with warm golden light. Images appeared like living memories. Rowan helping strangers rebuild homes after storms, sharing food with hungry children, comforting the grieving, working tirelessly without seeking reward. At the center of the mirror burned a steady flame, pure and unwavering. Tears streamed down Elowen's face as relief and joy flooded her heart. She knew without doubt that she had finally found a soul as kind as her own. With a deep breath, she revealed her true identity. Rowan stepped back in shock, struggling to believe her words. But soon his surprise softened into gentle understanding. He worried he had spoken too casually, but Elowen laughed softly and told him that was exactly why she trusted him. When Rowan arrived at the palace, whispers and judgment followed him through grand halls. Yet when King Aldrich met him, he saw honesty shining in his eyes and felt a peace he had not known in years. Elowen showed her father the mirror, and together they witnessed the same golden light. The king's eyes filled with tears of relief. Their wedding was not the grand spectacle many expected but a celebration filled with music, laughter, and heartfelt joy. Rowan remained humble, often walking among the people to understand their needs, while Elowen ruled with wisdom and compassion. Together they transformed Aurelian into a kingdom where no one felt forgotten, where kindness guided every decision, and where hope flourished like spring flowers. Years turned into decades, and their love grew deeper with every sunrise. The magical mirror was placed in the palace hall as a symbol, not to judge, but to remind all who saw it that true worth lies within the heart. When people spoke of their rulers, they did not speak of crowns or power, but of warmth, fairness, and the feeling that their king and queen truly cared. And long after their time, their story lived on in songs and whispered tales, reminding generations that true love is not found in riches or titles, but in kindness, humility, and a heart that shines with quiet goodness. And so the legend of the magical mirror and the princess who trusted its truth lived forever, like a gentle light guiding hearts through even the darkest nights.